Yes guys, welcome back to the Full On Football channel. It is time for yet another video on the channel. Today it's not a match vlog. For those of you who have seen it, last week I posted my first ever Full On Football weekly episode. And I made a couple points in there saying that, of course, it's the first episode I've ever made, so things may not go very smoothly, or there are going to be things I'm going to change and there are going to be things I'm going to tweak. I watched it back, I uploaded it. I was happy with it to be uploaded, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there are some things I need to change and sort of tweak about before I'm ready to fully make it an actual sort of feature of the channel. So instead of just completely scrapping it for a couple months and then just going back to what I originally did, just match vlogs, what I'm going to try and do is do like a preview for the match vlog that I'm going to be doing that weekend. So instead of doing like all top 5 leagues in England and doing a preview for all 5 leagues, just for now keeping it as just a preview for the match vlog. And then once I've figured out what I want to do for Full On Football Weekly, and once I know whether it's the right thing to do or not, then I'll start phasing it in, and then hopefully then it'll start becoming more of a sort of prominent feature on the channel. So just before we start then guys, there's a couple of things I want to mention, as always in every video I do that isn't a football vlog. I always have to talk for about 5 minutes before we actually start. The first of which is, I know a lot of people probably don't really care, they're here to just watch the match preview, but I just want to make a point because it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at times. I do apologise about how unkempt I am. Long hair, long beard, it's long. I'm getting it cut tomorrow, so don't worry about that. I'm trying to change my style a bit because I've had the exact same hairstyle for about the last 8 years. So to do that, I've got to grow it out. It's not going to be anything too ridiculous, but I just want to change it up a bit. So yeah, to sort of do that, I've got to grow it out a bit. So I've tried my best at doing that, but I need to sort of get it trimmed now because I am starting to look a bit silly. One last thing I want to say then before we get into this video then, you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. It's of course the match preview for Luton Town versus Watford this coming Saturday in Sky Bet Championship. I'm absolutely buzzing for this game. I cannot wait to go and see this one unfold. So of course it's the first time these two teams have faced each other since the 2022-2023 season when Luton got promoted from the playoffs into the Premier League. These two clubs hate each other. These two sets of fans absolutely despise each other, and I genuinely think this is one of the derbies that is actually really underlooked in this country. You see all the tier lists coming out of like people tier listing all the derbies and stuff, and occasionally Luton v Watford isn't even on there. So I'm really hoping this game is going to be an incredible game on Saturday and really showing everyone in this country how good this derby actually is. Okay guys, I think I've been talking for long enough. Let's get straight into the preview for Luton Town versus Watford coming up this Saturday. So guys, on your screen now you'll be able to see the Sky Bet Championship table 1st to 8th. I feel like it's a good place to start with the tables to see where these two teams are coming into this game. And as you can see in 6th place there is Watford, having a really decent start to this season, although they have fallen off a bit in recent weeks, but they have got 2 big wins against Sunderland and Middlesbrough. They're currently sitting on 16 points and they're in 6th place. So a good result away at Luton this Saturday could put them as high as 2nd place if results go their way. So now that we've seen the top 8, now it's time to look at the bottom 8. And in 21st place, just outside of the relegation zone, 1 point to be exact, is Luton Town. An incredibly underwhelming start to this championship season for Rob Edwards' men. Coming down from the Premier League, of course, a lot of people predicted Luton to be finishing up in the top 4, but that doesn't look like it's going to be something that's going to be happening this season. At the moment, it looks like Luton are going to be lucky if they're going to be finishing above 19th, but I'm sure anything can change. We have only played 9 games, of course. They've got 8 points out of their opening 9. They've only won 2 games. That was away at Millwall and Sheffield Wednesday, 2 wins in a row, but then since then they've lost 3-1 away at Plymouth, a 2-2 home draw at home to Oxford United, and then as recently as last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, before the international break, a 2-0 defeat away at fellow relegated side Sheffield United. So then we're going to start off then with the previews, and it's going to be the away side Watford who kick us off. On the left hand side you can see their last 5 results, 2 wins and 3 losses. So their losses outweighing the wins at the moment for Watford in their last 5. It's not looking too good, you could say, coming into this one. However, they obviously do have that most recent 2-1 home win at home to Middlesbrough, 4-1 away hammering at Carrow Road, a 2-1 defeat at the Etihad. But although they lost that one, Watford, 2-1 isn't a terrible side against one of the most expensive teams and successful teams in the world, Manchester City. They responded to that defeat with an excellent 2-1 win at home to Sunderland, which we vlogged on the channel. If you haven't already, go and check that one out. And then they went to Deepdale, where they thought they could maybe continue their winning run and go 2 unbeaten. Well, unfortunately, they got absolutely demolished, you have to say, at Deepdale. Osmarich getting 2 of those goals before he was subsequently banned for his violent conduct. And then Watford responded in the best way possible with a 2-1 win against another North East side, Middlesbrough, at home. And now then on to Watford's manager is Tom Cleverley. He's also former Watford player as well. He's won 9, drawn 6 and lost 6. Of course, like I said just now, 3 of those 6 have come in their most recent 5 games. But it has to be said though, Tom Cleverley has had a really good start to this season with Watford. Of course, comparing it to the previous 2 seasons to this, he has done really, really well. And he's also brought some identity back to Vicarage Road that Watford have been craving for so long since coming back down from the Premier League. And now then, my one to watch then for Watford this Saturday, I've gone for Georgi Chegvotatsa, the Georgian international. He's had 47 appearances for the Hornets. He's got 86% passing accuracy, so Luton Town may find themselves in a spot of bother if they leave him with some space in the middle of the park this Saturday. And he's got a previous match rating of 7.4, so he has been a key part for Watford this season and some of last season, but we'll delve more into his stats a bit later on. So now then on to the home side, Luton Town, and on the left hand side you can see their previous 5. Luton's 2 wins in the top left corner, a 1-0 win away at Millwall and a 2-1 home win at home to Sheffield Wednesday. And at that point you sort of thought maybe Luton are sort of kick-starting themselves and might go on a bit of a run, but then when they went to Home Park they got absolutely smashed 3-1, and then they also managed to bottle a 2-0 lead at home to newly promoted Oxford United, and then of course headed to Bramall Lane and lost 2-0 to Sheffield United. So it isn't looking too good at the moment for Luton. They desperately need a win. What better way for the Hats to get back to winning ways if they could get a massive Derby Day win this weekend. So now then on to the manager for Luton Town, and he may just be public enemy number 1 in South West Hertfordshire. It's none other than Rob Edwards. Former Watford manager has won 24 games for the Hatters, drawn 18 and lost 33. Of course, the majority of those 33 losses came last season when Luton Town were in the Premier League, but as of recent he is coming under a lot of scrutiny for this poor start to this Championship season that a lot of Luton fans, and to be fair, a lot of football fans did not expect. I, for one, did not expect this poor start from Luton Town. Now then, on to my one to watch then for this Saturday. I've gone for Victor Moses. Now that, it could be quite a bold call because obviously, as you can see there, Victor Moses only played 4 games for the Hatters, and that may sort of show how poor the Luton squad have been this season, but he's made an instant impact ever since putting on the Luton shirt. He scored 1 goal, and that was that 1 goal at Home Park when Luton lost 3-1. He's had a match rating of 7.0, and of course he is a Nigerian international. Luton have gone from one former Premier League midfielder in Ross Barkley to another in Victor Moses. Can Victor live up to the high standards that Ross Barkley left before going to Aston Villa? Well, he certainly has started off pretty decently at Kenilworth Road, and we're going to get more into them in a minute. So now it's time to take a deeper look at Watford's Georgi Chegvotatsa, my one to watch for this weekend for the Hornets. And on the top left side, you can see his ground covered for this season's Championship campaign. He spent a lot of time in the middle attacking part of the pitch. He spends a lot of time helping Watford go forward in the area, trying to create play, and like I said earlier on, he's got that 86% pass succession rate, so you can already tell how he is a thorn in opposition sides. He's played 9 matches for the Hornets this season. He started all 9 of those games. He has averaged 85 minutes a game as well, so you can already see there he is a key part to this Hornets side. He's played 764 minutes already this season, and he's entered the Team of the Week once, so it'll be really interesting to see how he copes under the pressure of this massive Derby Day game this weekend at Kenilworth Road. In the top right corner you can see his attribute overview. On the left hand side is his creativity and his technical. Those are his 2 highest attributes, but then he's also got a pretty decent rating in his attacking as well. And underneath that you can see his monthly average rating, and there's a lot of green there. There's only 3 instances where he's gone below an average rating of 7 for a month, of course December, February and June, but this season he has hit above 7 every time, his best of which has been August, but as you can see he's been steadily declining since then, so it'll be interesting to see whether a good performance this Saturday can help him boost that above 7.4, or whether he will be able to get a better month next month. So now we move on to Luton Town's Victor Moses, my Luton Town one to watch for this weekend. And in the top left you can see his ground covered is significantly less than Georgi Chegvotatsa's. He's of course played a significantly less amount of games in Georgie this season. On the right hand side is where he is most prominent. He's played 4 matches for the Hatters so far. He's started just 2 of those. He's played 58 minutes, or he's got an average of 58 minutes per game, and he's played 230 minutes so far for the Hatters. And he's yet to make the Team of the Week though in the Championship. Of course, he's only played 4 games, so if he continues doing well for Luton, there is every chance that he is going to break through eventually. And in the top corner, you can see his attribute overview, very high in the goals area, shot attempts area, touches area, and chances created area. Of course, 75% for goals. He's only scored 1 this season, but that just sort of shows how important that goal was for his stats. Shot attempts, he's obviously had quite a few, and he's had a lot of touches as well and chances created. So he has been pretty key for Luton in the 4 games that he has played in going forward and helping Luton get up the pitch and register some shots on goal. And below that you can see his monthly average rating, and there are no greens there, not like Georgi Chekpotadze, who has pretty much all greens. Victor Moses, of course, he is a lot older than Georgi Chekpotadze. He was injured for the most part of April, and of course he's only just started playing for Luton, so he's yet to go above 7, but it will be interesting to see. Maybe a good performance this weekend can maybe bump that average up to above a 7. Now then guys, the final stat check I've got for you is Luton v Watford's head-to-head records. As you can see, there's only 10 on here. These two have faced each other so many times throughout history, but too many times to put on one screen. So I've gone for the 10 most recent meetings, and results to look out for then, of course. 2 times Watford have beaten Luton by 4-0 in the last 10 meetings. Once at Kenilworth Road in 1997, and the other as recent as 2 seasons ago at Vicarage Road when Watford won 4-0 against the Hatters. And that one was really interesting because Luton, of course, were on a really good run of form at that point in time. Watford had just come off the back of a 3-0 hammering at the Den, and they were not looking good. But Watford just out of nowhere showed up and smashed Luton by 4-0. So the sort of shoe is on the other foot now. Luton are on that bad run of form, and Watford are on that pretty decent run of form. So it'll be really interesting to see whether Luton can pull out a massive win at Kenilworth Road on Saturday. And one more thing to note as well, it was a massive gap between April 2006 and September 2020 that these two teams went without meeting each other. Since then, they've obviously met each other 4 times, and out of all 4 of those occasions, the home side has won every time. The away side, as you can see, haven't even been able to score a goal. So I wonder if Luton and Watford will be able to have a bit of a scoring fest this Saturday at Kenilworth Road and maybe spruce some things up. But if the stats are something to go by, Luton may be able to snatch a shock win at home to Watford on Saturday. So guys, that is pretty much it then. I'm so buzzing for this game on Saturday. It's going to be an incredible game. Like I said, the stats alone show what sort of quality there is to look forward to in this game. Both players as well, the ones to watch, look pretty decent coming into this one stat-wise. And of course, there are players I haven't even mentioned on both sides who are really good and can change this game in any sort of way. And like I said as well, the atmosphere, Kenilworth Road, is normally really, really loud for a normal league game, let alone a derby game when Watford come to town. So I genuinely think this game is going to be a special one, and hopefully, like I said earlier on, it's going to be one that sort of shows the rest of English football how big and how good this derby can really be. And one final thing I want to mention as well, which I didn't really actually go into detail in the stats that I just showed you just there. I went into it briefly in the sort of team overview, the managers, Tom Cleverley and Rob Edwards. Now, normally on derbies, of course, it's normally the fans, the players, and just everything that goes around it. But normally the managers don't normally play that much into a derby in the sense of they don't have affiliations to the teams. Of course, Rob Edwards and Tom Cleverley have so much affiliations to the team that they're in. In fact, Rob Edwards has affiliations to both teams that are involved in this game, of course, being former Watford managers. So he, of course, wants to get one over on his former employer. And of course, Tom Cleverley being a former Watford player, he has been playing for Watford and obviously managed Watford now. He knows what these fans want. He's been around the club for so long. He knows what the club is like, and he knows that a win at Kenilworth Road would be absolutely priceless. So these two managers are also going to be playing massively into this game on Saturday. So guys, that is pretty much it then for this match preview for Saturday's big clash, Luton Town versus Watford at Kenilworth Road. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know down below what you guys are going to think the game is going to be like on Saturday. Let me know if you're going as well. Let me know your score predictions, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the big game on Saturday afternoon.